Welcome back to the show, everyone. Dana, we were
Yes. Am I being mindful? No.
no.
What is mindfulness? Tell us,
Yeah,
please.
what is mindfulness? I mean, I think mindfulness is different than meditation. So let's
Okay.
start there. I make a
Yep. Or you
differentiation.
could have a meditation that is mindfulness,
Part of
but
your
they're not.
mindfulness,
Okay.
yeah, and I think like mindfulness is more of a practice, right? But
Yeah.
the idea of acknowledging, observing yourself
Yeah.
and doing something to regulate yourself
Yeah.
is what I
Okay.
would say. But I would say that the traditional meditation and mindfulness techniques are, I have found to be quite ineffective with
Yeah.
my neurodivergent
Yeah.
clients.
I can remember the first time I was like in a guided meditation, with us, a bunch of us in a room and close our eyes and her leading us through something, but there were a lot of there's a lot of space between each thing. And I'd be like, my mind would just be like all over the place. And then she'd said, is your mind here or is it all over the place? I'm like looking around. No one else seemed to have trouble. I'm like, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. Right. Quiet for me and mindfulness is like, just like the space to take up for my brain to go, woohoo, and
I
all kinds of
mean,
stuff. Yeah.
I find that when you clear the mind, like many of my neurodivergent clients that have trauma,
Yeah.
clearing the mind opens it up for like dark neighborhoods, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
entrance of
Yeah.
like dark things to come in. And
Yeah.
so this is why
Yeah.
I always feel like they can tend to really just be distracting, like just
Yeah.
like they like internally distracted.
Well, that's a
Um
tactic of coping in trauma is to
yes.
not get quiet enough so that it doesn't come up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So clearing, I find that the more, for the lack of a better word, passive strategies, quietness,
Mm. Hmm.
stillness, those don't work. Like
Yeah.
we usually have to be kind of doing something more active, whether it's
Hmm.
like an active mindfulness strategy. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
walk and I'm just gonna just say what I see. Like
Yeah. Oh,
like
yeah.
that
Yeah. So
is a
you're in the
better,
moment, sort of be
yeah.
way to be. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
I guess Dana, like let's talk about why mindfulness, and we're going to talk about some different strategies in our more traditional
Hmm.
mindfulness
Hmm.
strategies, but why use mindfulness strategies like in the first
Yeah.
place? Like
Yeah.
where do we see the value or importance of mindfulness
Well,
strategies?
gosh, it's that self insight. I mean, if you're not looking at yourself, how do you expect anybody else to, acknowledge that? I find, especially in this culture, um, boy, mindfulness has just taken a big hit. People want to have their day filled up with all kinds of stuff where if they just sit and be quiet for a moment, it's intolerable. But you want to be mindful because you want to know, like, am I tired? Am I hungry? Am I in need of something? Am I content? Am I happy? Have I not moved long enough that my butt cheeks are asleep and I probably should move a little bit? I mean, those are all
Mhm.
versions of being mindful. How can you name to another person or even to yourself what's going on with you if you're not mindful of it?
Yeah.
Right. And for me, anyway, all those years in body therapy, by the time I got into therapy at like 23 years old, I was so cut off from my body. My therapist would say, what do you feel right now? I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Where is it in your body? I don't know what you're talking about. Where do you feel tightness or pain or whatever? I'm like, nowhere, because it's just numb, right? So
Yeah.
the work became, where is it? What do you feel? Help you name it. You probably have done this to survive, and now you're out of that environment. And it's okay to feel those things and pay attention to them. But if you're never just in the moment, your brain also will kind of fry out. It needs that. There's stuff being written now about how kids on screen time don't have time to be bored, and it's their brains are looking different, right? Your brain needs to rest as well. Your body needs to rest. And if it's filling it all the time, that's what leads to burnout. You know, when people come in and they're feeling burnout, to me, that's not a you see outward signs in the rest of the body from burnout, but that's a neurological brain processing thing. You've burned it out. It really is. You burned the candle too hard, too long, and now the wick is gone. Or maybe
Yeah.
that's not a good example. But you have to, or the flashlight, right? If you need to have the flashlight last longer, don't leave it on when you go to sleep. Or you wait and you're mindful, or you get to decide when to turn it off and on so that you have some time to repair and recuperate. And those things now we're finding, because kids aren't having them, how important that time, that idle time is of mindfulness and just still. Or for a neurodivergent person, for me, mindful, if I'm closing my eyes, might be just letting all these thoughts run around and just noticing that they're there. How many thoughts am I having at one time? Or do I want to close my eyes and think about the next home improvement project I'm doing and go through and visualize all of that, right? That's a version of mindfulness or
Yeah.
a version of meditation. So are you in touch with yourself or aren't you? It's that awareness thing that we keep coming back to.
Yeah, and I think like I said, I think mindfulness gets misunderstood, and which
Yeah.
is why I think it's important for us to talk about it as a practice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Talk about distractibility.
Yeah.
A squirrel just ran down my driveway with the biggest avocado from my tree. That little mother,
That thing is like, woohoo, we're eating
I mean, it's
tonight. Oh my God, that's awesome.
I
So no
sorry,
avocado for you, but that squirrel's gonna have the
that
time of its life
that's
today. Yep.
it's such a hard thing because you need to leave them on the tree to ripen, but you leave them
Uh-huh.
on and they get taken by these little
You gotta, I've
mothers.
seen them they put like nets around them probably so they can't pull those off.
Anyway,
Are your squirrels nice and chunky? Are they nice and healthy because they eat so many avocados? You're like, I can't talk about it. And I was really looking forward to that avocado.
I'm gonna tell you, those are delicious. And he got the smooth skin one versus the bumpy skin one too. And
Oh,
that's my favorite type.
oh, I didn't know
That
there was a
little
difference. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Back to mindfulness. So I think here we go. Um, I think it's helpful to think about mindfulness as a practice, like I said
Mhm.
earlier, but the idea of a system or a practice of checking in with yourself and
Yeah.
making sure that you're doing what you need to do to stay regulated.
Yeah.
If we just look at it that way, then we
Mhm.
don't get caught up because anytime I bring up the word mindfulness, I will tell you what the reaction of all my clients are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God, Gwen. You know what? Like, I've tried. Everyone's like, yeah, just like quiet your mind and
Yeah.
sit and like they think it's like some monk thing that they
But that's meditation more than, oh, is your squirrel flaunting it to you now?
he's he's kind of being a little
Look
he's
what I
I think he
have, I got
knows.
the
No, he's like,
avocado.
yeah, he's like teasing.
Oh God, that's
I
too
think he's
funny.
going back for another one.
Oh,
If he comes back down, you guys, with another one, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to get out of my chair. I'm like, I gotta draw the
if you
line
see
somewhere.
an edit in this video, it's because you've had to run outside with a baseball bat.
By the way, my luck, I would hurt myself with
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
situation.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like nothing's gonna happen to the squirrel. Like,
Uh, yeah.
okay,
That's a squirrel thing is a good example. So I have posted on one of my most watched and commented on videos on TikTok was meditation is problematic
yeah,
for autistics, and most people are like, oh my God, yeah, I can never do it, I can never do it. And then other people had said, meditation doesn't have to be quiet.
that's right.
Meditation is sort of a singular focus on anything. Like even when I'm doing my
Yep.
artwork, I consider that meditative. Mindfulness doesn't have to be, that's what people associate it with, oh, quiet and and empty your mind. Mindfulness doesn't have to be a quiet thing. It's one version of it, And it's too bad that people have said, you need to, as a person, be able to sit and quiet your mind, or something's wrong with you, or and for neurodivergence, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah, that's really it's
So
just not the
I'll,
way the brain's
yeah,
wired. No.
yeah, I'll tell some people, just notice thoughts, how many you're having, and then maybe journal about it, like what's all in there, what are you feeling, or if you want to focus on one thing that feels good. Like my therapist used to say, you love the ocean, just sit on the beach and watch the waves come. And inevitably, it was always something like me getting in the water and scuba diving and fighting sharks and doing, And then she'd say, "What was that like? What happened?" And I just be like, "Oh God." I just felt like such a failure at the time, right?
Yeah.
But really, that was a form of meditation for me. It was just different, right? And
It's
mindfulness is more like you're mindful of you, what's going on in you, and how you feel.
in the moment.
Maybe how the environment is interacting with you. I'm really agitated because a squirrel's stealing my avocados. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the mindfulness,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
right?
it's it's being grounded to the present moment, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, like, some of my clients, they do much better when movement's involved. So a yoga
Mm-hmm.
could be really
Yeah.
good for some, for some,
Mm-hmm.
not for everybody. Dancing,
Mm-hmm.
just
Oh yeah,
dancing
yeah.
could be great. We've got like our sensory kind of meditations
Mm-hmm.
or
Artwork is
mindfulness,
a fantastic
art,
way to do that. Yeah, yeah,
pottery,
yeah.
ceramics,
Drawing.
photography,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on in the moment. This is why we also don't want to, if it's safe stimming, so maybe like
Mm-hmm.
just stimming
Yeah,
that obviously isn't harmful.
yeah.
That's also like regulating and
Yep.
grounding, like in the moment, fidgeting,
Yeah.
those types of things. But I find that a lot of gardening, I don't know, like Dana, like
Mm-hmm.
gardening can be something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Some people ride horses, some people, I mean, there's so
So
many.
yeah, the point being, you could do any of those things in a
Yeah.
non-mindful way,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that means you can do anything in a mindful way. Even if I was looking in my palm tree or out the window, because that's where our squirrels tend to hang out when if they come up. It could be just sitting here. I'm not even worried about avocados getting stolen, but I could just be watching and still. And I
Yeah.
love watching my dog, just when she's sleeping, we'll stare at her and we're like, "Oh my God, she's so cute."
So cute.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's sort of a version of regulating. It's a singular focus on something or things that help you balance. I was going to say calm, and then I'm like, it's not always calm. That help you kind of balance, and then also using one version of that to take an inventory of what's going on with you. I was thinking that I teach group therapy to my students in the summer, and we do an all day kind of thing. And I do have them do artwork, and I'll give them a piece of paper and some set of instructions and some drawing materials, and I'll say, okay, you're gonna have an hour, and almost inevitably people are like, an hour? We're gonna be doing this for an
What are we doing for an
hour?
hour? Yeah.
I don't know what to do for an hour. And then I'll give you a warning when it's like getting close to finishing. And again, inevitably at the end of that, and these are 20 sums, right? That have grown up in like this crazy world. They'll say, when you first said an hour, I thought, oh my God, this is the worst day of my life. I don't know how I'm going to sit here and draw for an hour. And then usually when I say you have like 10 minutes left, people are like, oh my God, what? I only have 10 minutes left. And to me, that lets me know they were in a meditative or mindfulness place. And they say, I totally lost track of time. There it was. And then another exercise we do that's harder is something called authentic movement, where you get in pairs. So you have one mover and one witness initially. And then, so if there's 20 people in the room, there's 10 pairs. And the movers close their eyes, we dim the lights, and you move in any way that's authentic to you. So it could be big movements, could be very small movements. And when you do this to someone who hasn't had any kind of therapy aside from talk therapy, and then I tell them you're going to do this I start out small. I stay 15 minutes. I've done authentic movement for an hour in
Hmm.
various groups that I've been in, but they're like 15 minutes. And then they'll say the same thing. The time goes like that, but they were super anxious in the beginning because, like the drawing, they're just focused in on themselves for a predicated amount of time, and they think they can't do it,
Yeah.
but they do it. And then usually the report is all similar, like, wow, I felt like I was there. I don't know how I feel like numb isn't the right word. I said, you feel sort of like buzzy and it feels good. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, balancing, that's regulating, right?
The
And
other
in
the
the
other
moment,
yeah, and the other word that people might use is flow, right? They're in a flow
flow.
state,
Yes, yes, yeah. I've had
right?
dissertation student do one on
Right.
flow.
A
Yeah.
flow state could be like
Hmm.
also that thing. So, ADHDers a
Hmm.
lot of time will talk about getting into a flow state and then they kind of
Yeah,
lose
yeah,
track of time. So
yep,
there's this idea of just like, how are you very just in tune? Like, how are you grounded to the moment?
yeah,
And I think this is a necessary skill, especially for like our autistics who
yeah.
have just explosions of thinking
Yes,
where
yeah,
they
yeah,
feel like there's so much thinking,
yeah,
and that they can be overcome and overwhelmed by their
yeah, yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
And that, maybe that might lead to also some um anxiety, maybe
Hmm.
some perseverative kind of ideas.
Hmm.
The grounded mindfulness strategy is a really important one to nail, I would
Yeah,
say.
and the value judgment of doing it right or wrong
Gone,
has to be gone. So I was
gone.
trained on it is what it is, and just notice what you notice.
Yeah.
And so let's say, working with someone who has, especially who has trauma, closing their eyes, you just might notice what you're feeling. And I was talking about this last week. I said, if you are working with someone who has trauma and you don't have rapport built and resource installation built, don't be doing connected breathing and teaching them to do that because you're going to deregulate them. So what made me think of that was I can remember the first time I'm doing that, they say, just notice your breathing. There's no right or wrong. And I notice I'm like, oh, breathing, what's that?
What's
Right?
breathing?
Right. But
Yeah.
I couldn't become aware of that until I noticed I wasn't, right? And again, how I was trained was not, oh, notice you're not breathing and now you should try to breathe because that has so much pressure and it's saying you're doing it wrong. So it was very incremental of what was it like for you? I noticed you told me to notice my breathing and I noticed I wasn't breathing and then I went down this rabbit hole of how terrible I am because I don't breathe the right way.
Mm,
That's grist for awareness. That's grist for
yeah.
mindfulness.
Yep.
Look what I do to myself you got to go when I'm not breathing.
Keep talking, Dana.
Okay. Well, you go get that damn squirrel. So you have to take away the value judgment even in yourself when you're trying to do these things. You have to not judge yourself and just notice what you notice. And then if you track that and be aware of what you do, you can be sweet and kind to yourself and then just try to nudge yourself forward. So like the first time I noticed I wasn't breathing, oh, look at that, you grabbed them. Oh, they have bite marks in them. Are those
I
the ones
am
he
not
actually got?
crazy because he
Wow.
is taking bites. This is like, these avocados are so brilliant, by the way. He
Yeah.
is taking bites and then going back for another one and taking another bite
Oh, maybe he
and
doesn't
leaving them in my driveway.
he's taking a bite and realizing he doesn't like them, maybe. That's probably
Oh,
what that
stop.
is. Yeah, I don't know if
Do you
squirrels are
see how
supposed to eat
beautiful this
avocado.
avocado is?
Yeah, it's still beautiful even with I think it's cuter with the squirrel bites. It's adorable. You're like, no, it's not. You're going to peel them anyway, right? Do you usually eat the peel? Look
No.
at your face. You're so mad. Yeah. So now you have some special squirrel nudged. What are you feeling right now, Gwen?
Would you like me to identify my emotion? Because if I do,
Yeah.
it may
Anger,
come
anger. I
with an
can make a
extra
guess. I have good facial
danger, Will Roberts.
recognition in terms
Danger,
of affect.
danger, danger. I
Oh God.
I'm noticing my clearly the squirrel situation is not an isolated one in my
Oh, there
home.
we go. Okay. You've
So
lost
I'll
other things you were really looking forward to
lost
the
I've lost
squirrels.
we've lost a lot of avocados actually.
Okay.
And it's not that
And
I
you know
don't want.
what? I don't like
Mhm.
avocados.
Really?
So I'm like, have it. So we're
Da-
coming at it from different
Dana,
places. They're
maybe
too
you haven't had a
slimy.
good one.
No, everybody says
Slimy.
that. I've
Okay,
had good
okay.
ones. They're too
Okay.
slimy. They're
That's too
gross.
slimy for you. It's the sensory thing.
Yeah.
Um this episode is ridiculous because I apologize, everyone. I
You
can't
were
help
in the
myself.
moment. You
But
were in the moment.
I was, and let me just say to you, I said If he comes back, he
Yeah, I'm
went,
going.
and if he comes back again and gets another one, I'm getting out of my seat.
Yeah, and I kept talking. I said, "Say, be
Oh, you
kind to
did. I heard you
yourself.
in my
Notice
yeah.
what you're noticing. Even if you're angry, it doesn't mean you have to calm down. You can be red mad at the squirrel who's
Mhm.
stealing them and then not even eating them, right? That's going to feel incensing if you're really looking forward to that thing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah,
So
thank you,
see, that's what
Dana.
you do is you honor. Mindfulness is about honoring wherever you're at in that moment and you
Yep.
being sweet to yourself about it. That's the
Yep.
only way your psyche will open up more and tell you more if you're not judging it and doing what other people do to you already.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, well, first of all, the self-criticism goes
Yeah.
absolutely nowhere very quickly.
Right.
Like we just know that, right? But
Yeah.
naming emotions or acknowledging them is absolutely something that is effective. And
And
I'm
you
going
learn
to
from it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like
I'm
and I'm
thinking
going
of
to
that. Sorry, go ahead.
acknowledge that I'm
Yeah.
distracted
Yeah.
and on edge because guess who's back
And you have
and
more in
going
there. More,
back up
yeah.
to the tree.
Yeah. Do you need to go clang some dishes and shag them out of there?
No. Um,
No.
he's standing in front of my window of
He's
my
taunting you. Yeah. Oh my God, it's too funny.
so, but I
But
acknowledge it and, here we go.
yeah. And so what you did there, you went beyond just I'm mad at the squirrel and you got more layers to it, right? I'm
Yeah.
thinking of when we've done artwork in my class, someone will start out saying, I'm not an artist. My drawing's terrible. And look at those other ones, they're so much better. And I'll say, okay, that's a layer. um, can you talk it out a little bit more? And so they keep putting words to it and say something like, I really do marvel at people that can draw that way. And there's some pain in me that I can't do that. My brain does not work that way. See, it's a little different. That next layer
Yeah.
is a little different. It's not quite just judgy.
Right.
It's like, I marvel at that. And then in subsequent days, those people would say something like, that is amazing. I wish I could do that. I'm going to appreciate your drawing
Yep.
knowing it's not my strong suit. I do other things that I think are really great, but that's not one of them. And I can marvel at someone who can.
Yeah.
That's more self-accepting. It's more like saying how you're wired, who you really are. And instead of it being negative, I suck because I can't draw. It be I'd love to be able to draw that way. I can't. I've taken classes. I can only get so far, and I marvel at people who can. That's
Yeah.
very different
Yep.
than I suck, right?
Yeah.
So even
Yeah.
with
I
you
can't.
get to different layers of it. And look what we unpacked about the squirrel rage. There were layers to that.
100%. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it always feels, I think also we're talking about the value of validation and being
Hmm.
understood. And when you name your emotion and you acknowledge it and you observe it, you
Hmm.
are validating it
Yes.
internally. And that's
That.
that's exactly what, for you to be able to do that for yourself is
That's
really,
right.
really important. For that to happen externally as well can be
Yeah. Yeah.
also therapeutic. Like that could be
Yeah.
great as well.
Yeah.
But it does need to start within you. Like,
Yeah. Right.
wow, like I am having this feeling and feelings are going to come whether you like
Hmm.
it or not. It's kind of like
And
what you
feelings are real. They are what
um,
you don't decide on a feeling. It is
no,
what it is.
it
Yeah.
is yeah, it definitely comes um and what you I think it's like what matters is what you do with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not judging that the feeling's occurring in the first place,
Right.
but it's that, it's what will you do with that feeling? And
Yeah.
it could
Exactly.
just be letting it go. I mean, you don't have to do anything. I mean,
Yeah.
but again, we come back to empowerment and choice and
Hmm.
efficacy.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is, Dana, this is something that we talk a lot about on the show. I mean,
Yeah.
because the minute you feel like you don't have any choices,
Hmm.
it's over.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're
It's
just gonna
really over.
feel completely disempowered, not wanna do anything. That's
Yeah.
understandable. Yeah,
Yeah. And we get it. We
yeah,
get it.
yeah,
And that I think is an important thing to differentiate from burnout. And
exactly,
burnout
yeah,
is
yeah,
something that, Dana kind of touched upon. We've done burnout
yeah.
a lot on the show because burnout
Mhm,
is
mhm.
very, very common.
Right.
So yeah, mindfulness. So don't feel like mindfulness is just quiet, like
Yeah,
quiet your body, quiet your
oh,
mind.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's really not what it is. It's like
Yeah,
find your way of getting into your flow states, find your way of being grounded into the moment. Whatever
that's right.
that is, it
It's
could
for
be
you. Yeah.
coloring, it could be
Find
any
ways that work for you. Yeah.
what yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And don't
Exercising, riding my bike is exactly like that every morning. It's how I
yeah.
start out my day
Yeah,
like that.
sometimes
Yeah.
people have hobbies or
Hmm.
crafts that they do for
Hmm.
themselves. Again, it doesn't it doesn't have to fit anyone else's rules. It's as
Hmm.
long as you feel grounded to the present moment, whatever that
Hmm.
is, then that's the right thing for you. So,
Right. Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess we're here to take the bad rap from the mindfulness piece. We're
Yeah.
we're trying to
Exactly.
give it a new
Exactly.
we're trying to give it
It
a
is
new
interesting that the
reputation.
squirrel showed up right then, though.
Guys,
Yeah.
come on. Like
Yeah.
what?
Squirrels are usually about preparing, being ready for things, preparing for things that are going to happen later. If you look at the medicine meaning of squirrel,
Oh yeah?
busyness, preparing. Yeah, so that may
Oh.
be something that's going on for you right now. See if that fits. Mm.
You mean the squirrel preparing for themselves or me
No,
preparing to do something to the
the
squirrel?
squirrel showing up for you. It's a thing
Oh,
for you.
sorry.
Signs
Just
from nature to tell you to pay attention to something. Yeah,
he's
yeah,
back. I'm
yeah.
gonna
All
name
right. Well,
him.
yeah. Oh,
You
Avi,
know,
avocado, greenie, pit,
I've
because they have big
I,
pits on 'em.
I've got some other names in my mind, but then I would have to edit them, and I don't want to make more work for myself. Thanks. Okay. Anyway,
Oh my
everyone,
God, too funny.
good luck if you have if you want to share your mindfulness kind of
Yeah,
technique or tool. Please
let
do,
us know.
if you
Yeah,
feel comfortable doing that, because it might be able to give other people some
yeah,
ideas that when they're like kind
absolutely.
of like I haven't found anything yet. So,
Yeah,
all right,
yep.
all right, everyone, we will catch you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.